Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another beautiful Wednesday with us on Live with Lloyd. I am your host, Astro-Numerologist Lloyd Strayhorn, and boy, do I have a surprise for you. You see my guest there. Her name is Grace. We'll get more into that, but in the meantime, let me just do this a second. All righty. Okay, hold on one second, folks. This is why on TV they have their producers and all that stuff, but I'm my own producer. So anyway, hi everybody. Listen, thank you very much for joining us on this Wednesday, the 29th. There's a couple of things that's happening today. First of all, it's a new moon day in the sign of Aquarius. That means the sun and the moon are in the same sign at the same time. All righty. On addition, in Chinese astrology, these signs always start on the new moon in the sign of Aquarius. It don't start in any other of 11 signs in the zodiac. In Chinese astrology, the new moon always starts in, or the Chinese year always starts in the sign of Aquarius on a new moon. So thus today is the year of the snake, okay? So, I know people get this whole stereotypes about snakes, but in Chinese astrology, all the animals have their own symbols: a rat, a monkey, you know, a goat, a horse, ox, whatever. So don't be, for those of you who might have a little inferiority about rats or snakes, okay, snakes normally scare people, but be not afraid. It is not that kind of party. It's just, it is their time. Everybody, see the beautiful part about nature, everybody gets their turn. You just have to wait. But anyway, before I bring my guest on, I want to let you know the show is being brought to you by U Juice. It is totally sugar free. Also, Nicholas Brooklyn in Brooklyn at 1396 Fulton Street, and they're going to have a health fair on the 8th and the 9th. In fact, I'm going to have one of the guests on the 5th. Also, I want to let you know it is also sponsored by Manifest on Purpose with Miss Kimberly, and um, also sponsoring is Jazz Aphrodite, and her books are definitely available for you. So before I begin and bring my guests on, let me read to you today's cosmic forecast. I believe I got everything right this time. It is Wednesday, January the 29th. That's correct, of 2025. The sun is in Aquarius. It's a new moon in Aquarius. It's a 1 universal month, a 5 universal week, a 3 universal day. Sagittarius and Pisces are the favorite signs today, or anyone born on the 3rd, 12th, 21st, and 30th of the month. All right, now that I got that out the way, I'm going to bring on a very wonderful guest. Her name is Grace. Grace, how you doing, lady?
I am great. How are you? Thanks for
Grace
having
is
me.
literally from the city of Chicago with the Williams, Steve and Carol Williams, that graces the show every time. She's also an astronumerologist. She's also literally a world traveler. How you do it, I don't know, because I got questions for you about how you do it, how you pay for these things. You must have some travel hacks. It's
Yeah.
got to be. You're in too many places. It says we've been here, there. What made you decide to be such a traveler?
Ever since I was little, I just always wanted to go to every country. Like, that was always one of my biggest goals. My family actually took me on my first overseas trip in second grade, and I remember it was very unorthodox. We went to London, and I just was in awe of how somewhere so far could be so different, but still similar enough. London's not that different from the US, but it is. But
Mhm.
yeah, I was just, ever since then, I just knew I had to see everything. So,
Not only that, but you also have a travel service too that we're going to talk about. We also have a review from one of your clients that actually gave you a nice review,
yeah.
saying how they really hated the pack, but planning was beautiful. All
Yeah.
they just did was follow the program. How long have you been doing this, Grace?
It's funny because I've been traveling my whole life, and all my friends, I've always helped like with their trip. People just always ask me questions, and then finally about 2 years ago, I was like, maybe I should make a business of this and just help people more than just my family and friends, because for me, planning a trip is fun and it's easy, and yeah, it gives me more insight on places I haven't been.
Everything is easy when you know.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
everything is easy. but you
Yeah.
are also an astronumerologist, a good one at that too.
Yes, yes.
My question is, when you travel, did you look at the numbers of the place? Like I know you went to Tanzania,
Hmm.
you went here, you went there.
Yeah.
I mean, do you do the numbers of the places before you go?
I do, especially for places that I know I want to move because I move a lot too. So I've lived many places. For vacation, I'm a little more lax, but definitely places I want to move, I fully do the numbers and see if they align with my numbers.
Okay.
And it's made a
And
lot of sense.
in fact, what we're going to do also is see how other people's numbers align too in the comment section. But this is for some reason when I saw this picture, this is in Bed-Stuy, right?
Yep, I lived in New York for about 3 years. Yeah.
Okay. What's
Yeah.
the longest you've ever lived in one place then?
Oh, I
Other
guess,
than born in Chicago.
yeah, technically Chicago, but then it will be New York. It'll be New York.
Where
Everywhere
did
else, it's like a month or not a month, anywhere from like 6 months to a year.
you
And
know
then
what's
I
interesting? You are a
gotta
number one in New York City is a number one, and it's under the
go.
sign
Hmm.
of Leo, which is ruled by the number one.
Yep. Yeah,
Um,
New York always felt right. And that's what it's interesting knowing the numbers with a place because some places you go and you're like, this doesn't feel right, but you can't really explain it. And usually the number will tell you.
Here it is. Where were you going on this trip?
That was when I moved to Thailand. So that was 6 months ago. That was when I left the US and moved abroad. Yeah.
How do you reach these decisions to do this?
Honestly, people ask me all the time and I really don't have much logic behind it. I literally have a tattoo that says just go on my wrist cuz that's just what I do. Like I see a place and I'm like, "Oh, I want to go there." And then I just go.
Okay, well, we're gonna take a tour with you if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Okay. The first one is tell us about this place. Where is this? This looks like the East or Asia.
So that's in Bali. That's in Ubud, which is actually where I will be going back to and living probably for about the next year. It's an amazing place. Like such a spiritual, such a feminine, just lush, beautiful place. So easy to be vegan there. It's amazing.
What about this place? That's
That
beautiful. Where is this?
that is the White Temple in Chiang Rai, Thailand. Another very spiritual place. Very, very amazing place. A lot of nomads live in Chiang Mai, which is pretty close to there. Yeah.
Okay, what about this location? Where's this at?
That is actually in LA. That is the Griffith Observatory, actually, just from
This
kind
is
of,
in LA?
yeah, just a different angle. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Um, and this one? Oh, this one?
That is in Paris. That's at the
That's what I
Louvre.
thought. That's what
Yeah.
I thought.
That's at the Louvre Museum in Paris. It's funny. Paris actually is not one of my preferred cities, but yeah, I'm sure if I
So
did
why'd you go?
my school took me there for study abroad one time, and then my mom actually learned French, so she loves Paris. So I've just been able to be lucky enough to go with her a couple times, but yeah, not my city.
Question, when you go to these places, what is your average stay?
Oh, it kind of depends. Now that I've gotten a little bit older, I try and stay places longer. And when I say longer, I mean like 2 weeks or more. But I used to just do really like when I was in my budget travel phase, which was a long phase, I would do just a weekend. Like I just wanted to see places, even if it was for 2 days. Like I would go.
Really?
Yeah, it's worth it. It's better to me. It was better to do that than just sit at home watching TV all weekend.
Yeah. Listen. Now, when I saw this, I got a feeling of Haiti. Where was this?
You know what? Interestingly enough, that was in Colombia, in Bogota, Colombia. Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Colombia was a really interesting place because they have a lot of the same issues that Black Americans face in the US. So there was like me and my friend, when we went, everybody was so kind to us, like extra kind to us because we were Black. And Colombia is a great place for Black people to go, for sure.
Okay, that's good to know. That's
Yeah.
good to know in light of the world crisis that's going on around here.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
say that is a very, very good thing to know.
Yeah.
So, how long were you in Colombia?
We were there. That one I was there for like a week and a half. So I went to Bogota and Cartagena, which are two very different cities. Bogota is like a mountain town that is a huge city, like giant city. A lot going on there. Some parts maybe weren't as safe, but I don't know. I
You
always am
just don't
blessed.
have a problem, though, right?
Yeah, I've always been blessed when I've traveled, luckily, with safety. But yeah, then Cartagena is like a beach island, more touristy kind of place that most tourists go in Colombia. So it was both very vibrant, so much street art, so much culture. Like, oh, I would live in Colombia. I probably will at some point. I'll be back.
Now, what Grace and I are going to do, she's going to do some readings. She's not going to do no heavy duty readings because I'm busy. So trying to figure out where was this, where was that, how you get there. There's some more things you got to let us know. But for those of you who wish to travel, because, in my book, Numbers in You, I put best places to live and best places to vacation. I have a question speaking of that. I tell people, why is it you can go to a city or country or whatever, and you feel right at home?
Right.
Then there are other energies. You go to a city or country, and as soon as you get there, you're ready to get out of there. Have you
Yeah.
ever had that experience?
Plenty of times. Yeah. Yeah.
Really?
It's funny because, yeah, the more I've traveled, there's a lot of similarities. Some people are like, oh, well, I just like a metropolitan city, or, oh, I just like the beach. But you can go to different beach destinations and still not feel right at some. And I just feel like it's aligned with your numbers, these places, and the vibration that they carry. Sometimes they just don't align with you.
Yeah, each city or name of a city or country has a frequency or vibration. And
Yeah.
I guess you would know, traveling as much as you have. Where was this?
That is also in Chiang Mai, Thailand. Yeah, Chiang Mai was a really good place for me. Very healing, very spiritual center. I believe Chiang Mai is a 6, actually, vibration. It felt very homey to me. Yeah.
Now, do you sit down and you actually calculate these things? And once you do, what do you do?
Yeah, I have started to do that because it's just interesting to me. Like, I try to now. I'm more adamant of doing the numbers before I go somewhere. It won't stop me from going somewhere per se, because I just feel like I need to see everything. But I will do the numbers first and see, how it goes. And I don't let that influence me, but it has been pretty accurate since I've started doing that. And then doing the numbers for places I've already been, I'm like, oh, it makes sense why maybe Barcelona wasn't my city, or
Yeah,
it's interesting.
Now, you said you also help clients, so it sounds like you got a travel kind of service set up.
Yeah.
Do you recommend to your clients that they travel based upon their birthday or zodiac sign to respective city or country, or you just say, hey, wherever you want to go, I'll set you there?
Yeah, so what I usually do is, like, I don't lead with that for most people, but I will add on cities sometimes with the intent because it aligns with that person's numbers. But I don't detract usually from people's original place that they want to go. Yeah, usually most people are pretty adamant. They're like, if I'm going to the Bahamas, that's where I'm
And
going
they're
to
going
go.
to spend their money. Yeah, they want to
Yeah.
go where they're going. Well, please, I got you on that one.
Right. But
What
like
about,
now, oh, go ahead.
no, this is, I guess, Paris again. That's the Eiffel Tower, I take it?
Yes. The Eiffel Tower.
Okay. So the
Yeah.
first one was in the Louvre, and this one was at
Yeah.
night in front of the Eiffel Tower.
Mm.
Now, of the places I have traveled, this is one of my favorites.
Cool. Oh, yeah. Of course, that would be one of your favorites. Yeah. The pyramid, going to Egypt was a very interesting experience. It's just, eerie there almost. I don't really know how to explain it, but just being by the pyramids just felt, yeah, just a unique experience.
Yeah, otherworldly. Did you go
Yeah.
to the Cairo Museum?
Yes. Yeah.
The Cairo Museum is interesting. It's been years since I've been there. It may have changed, but I was just,
There's a lot.
the mummies, everything is just.
Yeah.
When I saw this, I said, "This is what made me say I got to put your pictures up here." I says, "What?"
Yeah, that was a really amazing trip for sure. I mean, anytime going to Africa is just the best because I'm actually African. My dad is from Liberia originally, but yeah, I want, my goal is to have more travelers of color that I see on the road. Like that's always what I've wanted, and that's why I want to help people travel in whatever small way I can because yeah, like when I travel, I want to see other Black people. Like I want to see
That makes
us.
sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes you feel right at home.
Yeah, like I want to see us in these places because I mean, being a Black American in Africa, we're treated so well. And Asia, like pretty much
You know
everywhere.
what? They don't let too many people know that here, though.
I know. It's on purpose, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's why I tell everyone, they're like, "Oh, you've been to Africa? How was it?" Like everyone's like, "Oh," and I'm always like, "It was amazing. Like everybody treats you like family. You're just so welcome, so loved. Like you don't get that in Europe at all."
It's interesting. When I was in China, there was a section of parts of China near Shenzhen
Mm.
whereby there was a strong African community. I mean, it made me feel right at home.
Yeah, we're everywhere, and people
Right at
forget
home.
that. People
Right
forget
at home.
that. Oh,
This is in Hawaii, isn't it?
yeah, that was in yeah, Hawaii, Waikiki, the Big Island. Yeah, I liked Hawaii. A little Waikiki area is a little touristy for me. I like to be like a local. That's kind of my other thing, like traveling like a local.
Like to be with the locals, in other words.
Yeah, just to get the full experience of a place, I feel like you have to, yeah, at least speak to people who are from there. And
That makes sense.
yeah, then you get,
That
that's
makes
like when I
perfect
moved to
sense.
New York, I became friends with people who are from New York, and now I know all the best places in New York. Like that's just what you have to do.
Question: when I saw this image, what struck me was the daylight, the setting of the sun. It was kind of like off to the side. It was, or
Yeah,
maybe it was just the angle, but I just thought it was interesting. That's what people say. Where was that? That's why I decided to put this up here too.
yeah.
You know?
Hawaii is another very magical
Now,
place.
was this the Big Island or the main island, the tourist island?
Yeah, the main island.
Is
Yeah,
Yeah, that's not the Big Island. That's Hilo, right?
Honolulu.
Honolulu is the main island. I thought the Big Island was Hilo. But anyway, I know I went. I had fun. That's all I know. And speaking of this, where were you about to ski to?
Oh, this was in Lake Tahoe, California. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I was in my California. I lived there for a couple of years as well, and California has a lot of really, anyone who likes nature should definitely check out all the smaller cities in California.
Okay, now this one was totally, totally different. I didn't know where this was. Where is this?
Oh, this is fun. So this was in El Salvador. Um,
Really?
yeah, my friend and I genuinely saw a TikTok video of something in El Salvador, and we said, "Let's go." And then we went, not really knowing anything about El Salvador, and it's an amazing country. Everyone was so nice to us. It's so cheap, and to get there from New York, I think for that whole trip we paid like $800 for like 4 days, maybe less.
Not
Like
bad. And we're
including
talking about food, hotels, things
flights.
of that nature, flights too.
Yeah,
Not bad.
very. El Salvador is such an underrated country. I'm sure it's going to get popular probably in the next like 5 years once more people catch on, but very underrated.
And where it gets more expensive too. And where was this now?
Oh, this is in Zanzibar in Tanzania, at the Rock restaurant. It's like this restaurant, it's like in the ocean, and you have to like walk over this bridge to get there. Yeah, Zanzibar is another amazing place that more people need to visit. It's a great beach destination.
How
It's
long did you stay there?
That trip was like 3 weeks.
Whoa. That
Yeah.
must have been, that was impressive then, I take it.
Yeah, that was a long trip. But yeah, it was like 3 weeks, almost a month. Yeah.
Wow. I got a couple more. I like this image. Did you take this shot of
Yeah,
Turkey? You
yeah.
took this?
hmm Yeah, photography is like something I love, but I don't.
Yeah, it almost looks like a postcard.
Yeah, thank you.
How
Yeah,
long were you in Turkey?
that's the Blue Mosque. Actually, I was only there for 18 hours. I had a layover, actually coming back from Zanzibar, and it was a 18-hour layover. And I decided for us to book a hotel in the city, stayed for a couple hours, had dinner, and got to see the Blue Mosque, and that was really it. But worth it. Long layovers are a hack to get cheaper flights, and you get to see another city. So
That's
worth it.
interesting. That's
Yeah.
interesting. Now, this is the one I got a question for. You took this
Oh,
picture?
I did.
You didn't run for the hills?
No.
It looked like it was coming right at you.
I know. I know. It's funny. This was in the Serengeti, also in Tanzania.
It's a
Uh,
national park there, right?
and I got
Mm-hmm.
to go during the Great Migration that happens every year. And that is one of the coolest experiences probably of my life. It was so cool to see all these animals up close. Yeah,
You
any
weren't
animal.
nervous?
Honestly, no, because the guides weren't, and we were in a car. So,
That
yeah,
makes sense. That makes
the
sense.
animals don't really like people. So we just caught
I
them.
wonder why.
Yeah, neither. They caught us. We caught them crossing the road. Yeah.
I think that's well, let me ask you this. How many countries have you gone to?
I'm in 32 countries now.
With
Yeah.
about 100 and something more to go.
Yeah. That's what keeps me up at night. There's so many more places to see. Yeah. But I'm blessed. Like my goal was to get 30 countries under 30, and I have done that. So now I just got to keep going.
Well, here I'm going to give it a plug if you don't mind, young lady, which
Yeah.
is this is how you plan the perfect trip with Grace.
Yeah, my ebook. Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, this is how you plan it. And
yeah.
in fact, this was a nice compliment that you got from one of your testimonials. Grace made my travel experience stress free as a person who loves to travel but hates the planning. She made my vacation all the more relaxing by booking my hotel and transportation. She not only kept my budget in mind, but made sure I was getting the safest and cleanest spot. Highly recommended for the first time solo travelers. And she gave you 5 stars.
Yeah.
So I'd say you're doing something right there, young lady.
Thank
I think
you.
that's nice. I think that's a nice testimonial too,
Yeah.
what you do. Let me see some. I got one more thing too. I had so many things going on for here. Hold on. Okay,
That's
got
me
that.
always.
And this is your promo here too.
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, I love it because I just felt like there was a gap in just the travel agency field of it only being for ultra luxury people, and I just wanted it to be accessible to everybody. Like most people don't like planning most things in their lives, especially vacations, which are supposed to be fun and relaxing for most people. So if I can help out in that way, because sometimes that's the thing that stops people from going. So I'm like, listen, I'm here to eliminate the barrier. Like, just go and I'll take care of everything for
Well,
you.
isn't money a barrier? Isn't it normally very expensive to go? And if so, how do you get around it? I understand there's Google Flights and other
Yeah.
ways to kind of save money
Yeah.
without giving your trade secrets. How do you do yours? How are you able
Oh,
to travel all these places?
I love this question because people always are like, oh, did you come from money? Like, what are you
I
like a
said the same thing too. I said, I don't get in Grace's business. I don't know it like that, but like, you got a lot of money?
No, I'm just very resourceful. And I think the reason I travel so much is because that's what I prioritize. Like most people,
Interesting.
especially in my
Interesting.
young 20s, they were prioritizing like everyone I would work with would go to the club or like buy new stuff. And they'd be like, oh, I just spent $500 in the club. I'm like, okay, well, that's a plane ticket for me.
In
So I don't
other
know.
words, it's where people's priorities are.
That's the main thing. And when people start thinking like that, they're like, oh, yeah, you're right. And two, it's like you have to finesse like your time off. That's what when I worked corporate, I would use my vacation days in a smart way. So I would still get paid time off. Like there's little nuggets, but really if you make it a priority in your life, like you'll travel more. You
Have
will.
you thought about writing a book?
Uh, I have,
You
but
should.
yeah,
You should. You
I
should to save a lot of people because when I was looking at the wide ranges, and that's only some of the images I got off your sites, okay?
yeah,
And you know, there was one some national park, yellow park, something with the I said
yeah,
you was
you'll,
just like all over the place. And I
yeah.
says, I wonder how she did that because it must cost a lot of money because I think that's how people are thinking.
That's how people think, but travel doesn't. I mean, it's expensive kind of as you want to make. Like some destinations, yes. Like going to the Serengeti is pricey. Like there's just fees there that you can't get around, right? But there are certain places where you can go for very cheap if you make it that way. Cuz I did the budget travel thing. Like I've stayed in hostels. I've done it all because I wanted to see these places. Like Europe, you can travel on a pretty cheap budget. Southeast Asia, our money goes so far. Like, and it's mainly people's mindset about it. Like, not to say, traveling is an expense, like, it is extra, but there are ways to work around that. And I think just saying, oh, well, it's expensive, that just stops you from going. Like there's, and two, like even when I lived in New York, like I went to Woodstock, for example, one weekend just because I wanted to see somewhere else. And it was wonderful. Like we just miss a lot of things in our own back door sometimes too, because we think, well, oh, if I can't go on a 3-week vacation, I shouldn't vacation at all. And it's like, no, you could.
You know what? That's true. They think they got to
Yeah.
spend their whole time in one location.
Yeah, you don't. Like you can take small trips throughout the year. Like the US has a lot to offer as well, but yeah, I mean, there's like El Salvador, like I said, that was less than an $800 trip. I went to Cuba, another place for a weekend. I think we spent maybe $600 for a couple days there
And
total.
that includes flight and everything,
Yeah,
hotel.
yeah. Because in a lot of other countries, like I think people also get confused because they want to stay at like American owned hotels,
Or
but there's,
five-star hotels or some luxury hotels,
yeah,
right?
and you can stay at really nice hotels that are like 3 stars. In other countries, 3 stars is a good thing. Here I wouldn't recommend that because it would probably be dodgy, but in South America, a 3-star hotel is glamour. Like even in Bali, like a 2-star hotel is what we would consider a 4-star hotel. So you just have to know the environment you're walking into because our standards are just different here.
Well, that now is African American standards different than other people's standards in traveling? Has been your experience?
I would say so. I think our community definitely likes to stay, but there's been a change. Like I feel like more people are going to Africa, which is good. It makes me happy. But I think generally people stay safe. Like I know a lot of people go to Miami. We love a Miami trip. We love the Caribbean, which is amazing. But yeah, I feel like so much more to see. And there's so many places that want us to go there that aren't even on our radar because we're just worried about staying at an all-inclusive, which is fine. I'm not really an all-inclusive person, but I understand it. And I
In
think
other words, you like to hang out with the locals.
yeah, I like to like
I
be
like the
in.
locals too.
Yeah, I want to know what's up. Like I want to know the best places. But I think where I've learned a lot of people are travelers, or a lot of people aren't travelers, they're vacationers and they want to go somewhere and just
Uh,
lay down and like unplug. And that's okay. But traveling is more about like meeting with the locals, like doing things that are authentic to that place. Cause I don't want to travel and go eat at Cheesecake Factory. Like I want to,
yeah, especially when you left it in the city, you
yeah,
know.
like I want to do something new, like I don't want to do the same things I'm doing at home somewhere else with the beach. Like it's just not the same for me. But for some people, that's how they travel. But I like to give people new experiences because I think there's a happy medium. I think that we can have both if you want to, but I think sometimes we're just so limited in what we see and what's put out in the media, especially for people of color. Like when we see people vacationing, we see like big yachts and just a lot of just like luxury stuff, which is cool, but there's just so much more. There's so much more richness out there for us to experience. And there's so many great people around the world that want you to see their home in the way that they see their home. So
I found that was my experience too. When I would visit the locals, they would ask me to come to their home. It was totally different than the tourist routes, except when I was in Egypt, I saw the Sphinx and
yeah,
the light show and all this other stuff, and the
yeah,
Egypt, the museum and stuff like that. But basically, wherever I've gone, the locals always says, "Hey, come and hang out here."
yeah. Because I think you need both. Like, if you go to Egypt, you have to see the pyramids. Like
Yeah,
that's
that's priority number one.
like that's
Isn't
what
it
you have to do.
amazing to see the pyramids on TV or in a magazine, but to actually see it with your eyes? That's like
Yeah.
stunning.
I will say, I don't know about you, but I feel like I left with way more questions than I had before.
Well, when I left Egypt, I brought back sand. I didn't have no problems getting past customs. None. The guy said, "Could you
Love
take some
that.
more with you?" Okay. But
That's
that's what I
smart.
brought back sand. I
That's
really did.
smart.
Yeah.
I was definitely like touching everything I could. I'm like, I don't know what this is gonna do for me, but I hope this is giving me some good energy or something.
Yeah, no. But Egypt is a very special place. It is the land
Yeah,
of civilization and math
yeah,
and science and religion and philosophy, you name it. And
yeah.
people from Greece and Rome went there and became the father of this, that, and the other. Even Pythagoras is called the father of numerology, made
Right.
his pilgrimage and learned it in the land of Egypt or Kemet, call it what you will.
True.
So that should tell people the origin of numerology right there. And in of itself, it one have a discerning mind, so to speak.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Interesting.
what's next on your radar?
What is next? Wow. Excitingly, I'm in Chicago for a bit. It's my home. And I'm actually throwing a numerology themed event for Valentine's Day. And I'm going to talk to people about numerology and compatibility. So I'm excited about that. But other than that, I'm moving back to Bali full time.
Well, maybe we can ask some of our guests about some of the things they do. In fact, let me see. Now, this is Miss Neal. Thank you very much, Miss Neal, for the donation. She didn't give a birthday, but she said her sun is in Pisces, her moon is in Libra. She has a Capricorn ascendant. So
Mm,
it tells me she has she's a water sign with a earth ascendant with an air moon. Um, so that's interesting. Let's see if we can get, okay, this is a Sproul. Um, any travel plans for myself? And they just had a birthday just on Monday? No, Friday, Sunday. They just had a birthday on
yeah.
Sunday, and his daughter is born on the 11th. So they want to know any travel plans for them. What do you say?
Hmm. Let's see. Okay, so 26, that's an 8. 11, 2. Those are two very interesting numbers together.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. I'm curious. So I think good destinations for twos, which I think could be actually really nice for an 8 as well. Like twos, when I think of twos in travel, I think of somewhere that you would want to go with family, with friends, an easy kind of cozy city, if that makes sense. Somewhere that's like
Yeah,
super rich culturally and is leans more towards art and culture and just the
that
art,
makes
I
sense. That
guess.
makes perfect sense. That
Yeah.
makes perfect sense.
So when I think of that, some cities that just come to mind off the top of my head, I would definitely say Lisbon, Portugal. That's a very underrated place as well. Gaining popularity though, in Europe. Pretty cheap, actually. I don't know where they're based, but pretty cheap to get to from New York in their off seasons. That's another hack of how I travel
Travel
easily.
in off season, not peak season.
Off season is always better because there's always less people. It's always cheaper, and if you get it like depending on the place, weather wise, if you go like right at the end, usually the weather's still fine because I went to Lisbon in September and it was amazing. Yeah, I would say Lisbon. Maybe Morocco. That's a
Mm-hmm.
really rich
Mm-hmm.
place.
Mm-hmm.
Potentially Mexico City as well. Love Mexico City, and that's close. Another place that I wouldn't say Mexico City is underrated, but it should be higher rated for places to go in Mexico. Havana, Cuba is another super culturally rich place. That would be really cool to go as a family
Mm-hmm.
because it's like taking a step back in time being there. Yeah.
Well, I was thinking for the daughter, since she is a water sign like you, she's under the sign of Cancer like you, to go
Yeah.
anywhere where there's a body of water. And I
Yeah.
noticed a lot of the scenes, other than when you was in that national park in Africa with that bull looking at you,
I
okay,
do love
most of
water.
yours was near water.
Yeah.
Almost all of it was with water, other than
That's
Egypt, of course. If you notice, those were the scenes I noticed you took, like in Salvador,
yeah.
things of that nature. But
Yeah.
for this person that asked about traveling for themselves, which is
Yeah.
January the 26th, they happen to be in a 9 personal year, which is dealing with world travel.
Mm-hmm.
And so the travel months would have been as early as this birthday month, then the month of May, then the month of July, and then the month of September and October would
Mm-hmm.
be perfect times for them to travel.
Yeah.
That would be good. That would be good. That's interesting. That's interesting. You should write a book. You definitely should write a book. That's what you should do.
I one day. I think I am meant to be an author. One day. One day. I
So
need more
Angel,
experiences.
so Angel Goddess says, Grace is quite the traveler goddess. Keep going on. So inspiring. I think that is nice.
Thank
And
you.
Vicky said, this is excellent. It is. It is. And it is. And you know what? You know what? For me, you demystify that you can go places, have fun, gain experience and knowledge
Yeah.
without breaking a piggy bank.
Yeah. Really. Really. Dang.
She said, dang, I don't like people. I'm a number two. I'm learning to associate with them
Yeah.
others.
Two is all about harmonizing and cooperating with others for
But see,
sure.
they said they don't like people. So it's either a 7 or 4 in their name or their birthday, like an
Mm,
Aquarius or
yeah.
something of that nature. But normally twos are normally very, very open, very friendly, very
Yeah.
gregarious and stuff like that. And this is our analytics, numeric. I don't know.
You
And what
got
did
it.
I say? Melinda.
Hi, Melinda.
Yeah, she took the course with you too. You know.
Yes.
Uh, so I think this is Cliff Images says nice pick.
Thank
Um,
you.
and this person says El Salvador looks like where I go when I sleep.
Oh, I love that. Astro projecting to El Salvador. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah. And motels, Zanzibar, white sands, blue water, so clear and amazing, a must see.
It truly is. Truly is. I mean, there's so many amazing places. I think everyone also is so we're just so Europeanized or westernized, I guess, like Eurocentric, right? And it's like, yes, Europe is great. Like I lived in Italy. I've been lucky enough to do that. I've traveled Europe, but there's just so much else out there that is so culturally rich and just I don't know. Yeah, I just feel more connected in Africa, which makes sense. But yeah, it just there's
Well,
so
Motel says, I am just like you, Grace. I've been blessed and privileged to travel a lot. I've been in like 14 countries so far, lived in 4 countries, lived in over 10 different cities. And she sounds like you.
wow. Yeah, that's awesome. 4 different countries. That's cool. Nice.
Yeah, yeah.
I
That's
love it. It's like you just meet the more you travel, the more you meet people and you think, you're doing a lot and then you meet someone who's like, I met this woman, she's like, yeah, I've been to 70 countries. I'm like, oh, wow. That's
make it look like
amazing.
you just getting started, right? It's like, excuse me, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. So there's I mean
And Terry says, when should I travel? Now, they happen to be in a 9 personal year also. What I did was I took the month and day they're born, added to this year. This is the year of the 9, which is universal travel for everybody anyway, if they can get out of the country and get out their house and whatnot. But in this case, this person would travel. Now, one thing I noticed numerically also is that, Grace, that 3 normally has dominion over foreigners, foreign countries, foreign
Mhm.
languages. So, for example, this was the birthday of Josephine Baker, who moved to France. And in
Mhm.
fact, it was because she was so popular there. She must have
Right.
adopted about 30 children from all nationalities and everything like that. But because of her popularity, she is the one that actually sealed the relationship between the Franco-American relationship. They even
Mhm.
gave her an award, you
Yeah.
know, a France award, the Grave or whatever that term is there. But she
Right.
is the one that did that together. But three rules: foreigners, foreign countries, foreign languages, and that's where you should go, Pamela, if you can, because
Yeah.
this is the year to travel. So January, followed by May, followed by July, followed by also September and October would be ideal times for her to go to. As
And destinations, I would say Giza, because that's actually a three, which is very interesting to me.
yes, that's in Egypt.
Yeah, that's where the pyramids are. And it's
Yeah,
really
I know. The Pyramid of
interesting
Giza.
that it's a three, but it's like, yeah, that is where so much has been created that we still use today. And
Yeah.
then Mombasa, Kenya, also very underrated place, beautiful place, also a three. Phuket, Thailand's also a three as well. So I would recommend those places because
This is so cool. This is nice. And I'm glad I have you on the show. See? And
yes,
what it does, hopefully, it'll get the Live with Lloyd family to begin to widen their horizon, to not just
yeah,
stay in their city or in their house, but to go and venture
yeah.
out into this world. Most
Mhm.
of the wealthiest, powerful people taught their children just having them travel the world.
Oh, I mean,
That's
there's
in the
people
school.
who specifically travel to avoid bad weather. Like they every month I mean, the billionaires and millionaires, they definitely all travel based on like events that happen around the world. Like
Hmm.
like they'll be in St. Barth's for 1 month and then they'll be in like Ibiza for 1 month. You know, like they all travel the same places basically all year round, but they're traveling because there's just so much it's hard to grow in the same place you've always been.
Yeah.
Sometimes. There's some people that works out, but I mean, even you can stay there, but travel, like get out sometimes, even if it's for a weekend. Like it doesn't have to be extreme and start small, I would always say. But yeah, like it's hard to flourish, especially if where you're from, like me, actually, the town I'm from is not one of my good numbers, which
Hmm.
totally makes sense for me and why I felt like I love where I'm from, but
You
I
wasn't feeling that particular
yeah,
location, right?
I didn't have like the biggest connect. Like when I went to New York, I felt like, oh, I feel at home here more than where I'm even from, which is
Hmm.
weird.
Hmm.
But it
Hmm.
makes sense knowing my numbers. I'm like, oh. And you can also find out your ley lines too on the astrology side of things as well. And the ley lines
Hmm.
have different meanings for where is good for you or not.
Yeah,
And there's
and in fact, those same lines, if you want to find love, this is where you should go. If you want to find a career, this is where you should go. These lines do that.
what? Okay, I didn't
Yes.
know that.
Yeah, yeah,
Whoa.
yeah. Yeah. Well, anyway. Well, this person says, good evening. Their birthday was Wednesday before last on Martin Luther King's birthday, he would have been 96 years old, which would have added to 15.
Wow.
Okay. And this person is born on the 15th. So in this case, Sammy, your birthday is always the 6, 8, and 3. This is your year to find your spiritual center because you're in a 7 personal year. So it's about reflections,
Mm.
analysts. More than it's very interesting too, Grace, because this is when people go back to church or they
Yep.
go get readings or psychic fairs and things of that nature. But their lucky numbers are always the 6, the 3, and the 9. So I should have had up my book to kind of say these are the cities to go or these are the countries to visit and whatnot.
Yeah,
That's why you need to write a book.
I
Okay,
know. I know.
just drop a hint. That's all.
I will. If you say so, I have to do it.
Yeah, sure. Listen, there is nothing like having experience. Now,
Yeah.
I've traveled places, but nowhere near. How do you start? How do you plan? Where you going to stay? All these things make all the sense that when you get there, you enjoy yourself and
Yeah.
not get there and you're in a pickle. Okay.
Yes. Get there and then you're spending 3 hours on your phone trying to figure out where to go. It's such a waste of time
Yeah, the
when you
Wi-Fi ain't working either. So,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
true. True.
So this lady here, she says, "Hi, Grace. I would love a reading from you." Okay,
Ah,
so you got to give her a reading. She's the number one person born April 1st,
no.
2001. She has an Aries sun, Cancer moon, a Taurus rising, and her midheavens is in Pisces. All right,
Mm,
so what would you say about her as best you can?
yeah. Okay. Well, I resonate because I also relate to the one people. So you're
Yes, you are
probably
number
someone.
one.
Definitely don't let people hold, when it comes to travel, don't let people hold you back. Definitely take the trip. Go on solo trips if you have not already, because that is ideal for a one person, because you can control everything that you want to control on the trip. You can traverse wherever you want to traverse and not have to wait on anybody. And then also some places, New York, if you're not from New York would be an ideal place. Italy is a good country as well. That's a one country. Obviously, the cities are different. Accra, Ghana is also one place as well. Um, Interesting though, Cancer Moon. I'm a Cancer Sun, so I resonate with Cancer as well. But yeah, this is fun. This is
Yeah,
fun.
I think this is nice. I think this is very, very nice to do that. Not only that, but when they did, they're in a 5 per year, which is also another travel indicator.
That's true.
And this one is more weekend trips rather than long distance trips like the other two people that
Mm,
was in the 9 cycle, which denotes more of a longer trip. But to travel, to get out of the house, don't always spend every weekend in the house. Go somewhere.
yeah.
Anyway.
And
And
especially with one too. I mean, yeah, new beginnings, fresh starts,
yeah,
taking the
yeah.
initiative, like just start planning whatever you want to do. If it's a trip or new business idea, it doesn't have to just be about travel, but yeah, just start planting your seeds now for
This
sure.
is what I want to ask you. When you travel, what comes first? The budget or where you want to go or the
Mm.
logistics, if that makes sense?
Always where I want to go. Yeah.
Always where you want to go.
I'll always find a way. Yeah. Cause yeah, always
And
where
then
I
what's the next step after that? You say, okay, this is where I want to go next. Then what's the next process?
Next step would be, we'll see. Okay. I use a lot. Another travel hack that I have is I use credit card points a lot. So I got into that when I was
Mhm.
very young, luckily, because of my mother. And I only flew pretty much Southwest for a long time. I would get these $5 flights because I just had points. Because we're all spending money all the time here, anyways. So you should be getting something for that. So I'm a big advocate for travel
So
credit
you're
cards.
saying that they should apply. Yeah, because there are cards for travel that give you points in the process.
Yeah. And there's so many with so many other great perks like TSA pre-check. So you don't have to wait in the long lines and there.
I have
Like
global entry too.
global entry is the best. Like
No question. I
it's
just
the
stick my
best.
fingers in the thing and I'm out. No
Yeah.
long lines under that.
Sometimes you're like, this is too quick. Like, do you guys need to
No,
see
there's
something?
never anybody in global entry.
Yeah, they're just like, see ya. And then you see everyone waiting in the hour line to get back into the country.
Especially
Like,
when you come from a foreign country. And there's
yeah.
a long process, a long, long
That's
process.
so with a lot of these cards, you get that for free. They pay for that fee.
Interesting.
Yeah, because they're trying to get you to travel more. That's the whole point. But yeah, I use travel cards a lot. I love them. And that's how I get cheap flights most of the time. So it's pretty rare. I mean, you have to build up your points, of course, but yeah, I usually don't pay since I was like a teenager. I really haven't paid that much for flights because it just doesn't seem like the flight prices are so extreme these days. So I understand, but yeah, if you're already spending money, you might as well use it to get
And
cheaper.
carry out the points in the process too and save. And actually by saving that money, because some of these cards also allow deductions on hotels and
Yes.
whatnot too, right?
Yeah, yeah. And luckily now that I the travel agency that I work with, they actually have a lot of hotel deals too. So that's another lucky thing that's new for me though. I haven't ever really gotten hotel deals before, but now I get my own commission on hotels that I book for myself. So it's nice. I get money back basically and a cheaper rate than if I would have
So
not.
all that's a win-win. So these are some nice hacks to know.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
do have a question of all the places you've traveled so far. Which would be the place you would travel again and again for their food?
Oh. For the food. Okay, this is a tough question because I'm now vegan, but oh, honestly, I feel like I have to say Mombasa, Kenya. There's
Really?
definitely the best food. Yeah. Yeah, because I was eating fish then, and there literally would be like, oh, what fish do you want today? And then they would go catch it and cook it right there.
Whoa, that
Everything
fresh
was
out the sea, huh?
fresh out of the sea. Fresh,
Wow.
fresh. Yeah. And just I grew up on eating African food, so I have a taste, for spice and like just a certain, yeah, like plantains. Like if there's anything with plantains in it, like I love it. So I would definitely say Mombasa. Yeah. Mm,
Interesting.
yeah.
Okay. And this is Kim Kayla, who is July 31st. She is a Leo. She's born on the other side of Cancer. And so I would have her go to very odd and unusual places because that's the nature of before. They love to be different. In
This
other
is
words, if everybody's going to one city, they need to go to another city. There's also another thing I noticed that I had in common with you.
mhm.
90% of the time, I'm always travel by myself. I ain't got to clear nothing with nobody. I ain't got to wait on nobody.
Yeah.
Got to check with nobody. You know what I'm saying? When I'm
Because
ready to go, I'm ready to go.
that's
Period.
what holds a lot of people back. It really is. You're waiting for everybody to join in, especially when thinking about moving. That's when most people don't move from where they're from because they can't leave their friends or their family behind. And it's like, well, if this isn't the best place for you to live, like you should go where you're happiest.
I would think so
You
too.
know? But
But I think most people are used to taking a travel companion, friends, associates, and whatnot. But
yeah,
they're not going to always be on the same page.
no,
Somebody
no.
want to do this, and I want to do that, and I want to do this, and you do that. And I've heard of some people even getting into little arguments over it, and they're supposed to be having a good time.
People fall out on some trips. I've seen it. Yeah, because you have to know who. I actually have a section about this in my book because I've seen terrible scenarios for people because people don't talk about what's actually important. Like, do you wake up early? Do you sleep in? Do you want to go clubbing? Or are you someone that has to stick to a strict schedule and wants to see everything? Because you can't travel with someone who's your opposite. It's not going to go well, no matter how close you are. Like, it doesn't matter.
Just the opposite.
Yeah.
Now, did you say you put something in your book? What kind of book do you have?
Yeah, in my ebook, How to Plan the
Oh,
Perfect Trip.
see now you got an ebook. See, we ain't even. I'm glad I caught that. Okay,
Yeah.
can you tell us about your ebook, please?
Yeah. So basically, it's just a quick guide on how to plan a trip easily. And it just gives basically all of my years of knowledge within traveling and all the hacks that not all, but a lot of the hacks of how to just plan in a trip effortlessly and not have to worry about certain things. Like I give suggestions on how you find things to do, how to plan with someone who is different than you, what questions you should be asking, how to get hotel deals. I talk more about the credit card situation for people. I give recommendations on which ones I think are the
Where
best.
can I get this ebook?
It's actually linked in my Instagram bio. Linked in my Instagram bio.
Okay, can you give me the link and I'll type it in? What is the link? Or
Yeah.
type it in your
Yes.
Actually, my book Numbers in You is now an ebook. So you can turn your ebook
Sure.
into a book.
Okay, you know what? Actually, I should have sidebarred with you about this earlier, but you should definitely be selling your book in Bali. Like, Ubud is the most. Everyone I met there knew what numerology was. Like, everybody was like, "Oh my god!" Like, I love. Like, I told I was a numerologist. They're like, "Oh my gosh, I love the number one." And then I like was doing all these readings. Like, people love numerology there,
Where was
which is
this at? Where again?
in Bali. In Bali,
Bali.
very spiritual place. People are very tapped in to like
Well,
anyone
no
you
wonder
meet
it
there.
adds up to a 7. I just
Yes.
looked at it. Bali adds up to 7.
Yeah. That's
Okay, so
why.
if I go somewhere, I'll go to Bali. I'll bring a couple of my books.
Yeah. No, they would. Yeah, they would sell out. They would sell out because
That's
people can.
interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I just messaged you my link. Um. Yeah. But yeah, my ebook is definitely created it to help people travel easier a little bit, but and I give some destination recommendations in there. Yeah, just some tips that have helped
Well,
me
you
on the road.
actually have a book.
Yeah, it's an
Me,
ebook.
no,
I
no,
don't
no.
know.
It's a well, it's more electronic, but the point is that books are
Yeah,
now made into ebooks.
you're right.
So
You're
why
right.
not use the reverse process
Yeah, this is
and
true.
sell it on Amazon? And what, in fact, is your ebook sold on Amazon?
Actually, yes.
Are you
Yes.
serious?
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad I asked these things.
I know. I need to get better at promoting myself. It's because I'm a 7 life path. I am so like I
No, I
take
know the
everything
feeling. I
in.
know the feeling, but I'm
Yeah.
glad. I'm glad I was a little insistent on that because I'm saying with all this knowledge, it's like, you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Okay. You talk a bit because I'm going to take this in a second so people can see this.
Yeah, I just it's just important to see the world and meet other people and see things differently, especially now. It's funny actually being in Asia during the whole election period, everybody it's pretty instant that people knew I was American from just how I dress and everything. It's pretty easy to spot Americans anywhere else in
Yeah,
the
we are
world.
kind of obvious, aren't we?
Yeah, we all dress just a certain way, and we just are. I only speak English, unfortunately. Um, but yeah, everybody was asking me about the election, and they're like, "Oh, is this why you've moved here?" Like it's a new thing that people of color are not treated the best. I'm like, I've always wanted to move, and yeah, the pandemic stopped me originally, but yeah, like I haven't ever had dreams of living in America my whole life. There's just so much. There's so much better quality of life outside of America, and I hope that I can help people to see that because I mean Bali, you can get for anyone who's considering moving to Bali, please do. You can get a nice place there for $500 rent, like a villa,
Really?
yeah, with a housekeeper, $500. I mean, if you could spend 1,000 on rent there, you could have a pool, you could have probably a 3-bedroom house, 4-bedroom house. Yeah, 1,000 that would go a long way there. Food, I'm eating fresh food every day for 3 meals. I wouldn't spend more than like $10 US. And that's like fresh coconut, fresh juice, fresh everything.
Really?
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, and you take like your Uber rides there are like less than $1. Yeah,
What? Where is
that's
this
always
again? Where is this again?
that's in Bali.
Okay, I'm going to Bali.
Yeah, add
There's
it to the
nothing else to
list.
sell my books.
Yeah, add it to the list. Bali is
I know that sounds selfish, but you know, but as soon as I did the name Bali, I said, no wonder it's an 8. I mean, it's a 7.
it's a
So that makes all the sense
extremely
in the
spiritual
world.
place. Yeah, like everybody who goes there is a Reiki healer or a yoga teacher. Like there's a lot happening in Bali. Highly recommend for anyone who's needing travel inspiration. Definitely put on your list, although it's far. It's definitely worth it. Oh, looks like I'm the new host of the
No,
show.
but it's okay. I don't know what I pushed, but it is because I
You're
was
back.
trying to save your banner and I must have did something. Shucks, I didn't
No
save
worries.
it. No. We gonna get that ebook. I'm gonna get it too. Especially for those that want to travel. So that's ebook.
Yeah,
Thanks
it's
for bearing with me. It
and
will
of
only be a
course
second.
I
Go
priced
ahead.
I priced it at $7, so it's very affordable. Very affordable.
Ebook goes dot Gumroad Gumford Gumroad.
Yeah, Gumroad's a really cool software to sell.
Who?
Gumroad is what I use to sell it through. Also, I like that platform for selling things.
Okay. All right. All right, folks. I did it. Okay. All right. Now
So
make sure everything there is to the letter. Also, send a Zelle so she can go on her next trip somewhere too.
Thank you.
Okay, so she don't have to plan so hard with the strategy.
Right. Yeah.
Is
Strategy
that
behind
it? It's
it.
how to plan the perfect trip.
Yes.
gracegoes.gumroad.com.
Yes.
Okay, okay.
Yep.
And you said it is available on Amazon too.
Yes. Yeah. If you just search the title, How to Plan the Perfect Trip on Amazon, it's also there in the ebook
How to
section.
plan the perfect trip. Okay. I think this is so cool, Grace.
Thank you.
This is really, really nice. Thanks for letting me get in your business. It
Yeah.
was fun. Okay.
Of course.
Um,
Of course. Love
how
it.
can now what's the best way for people who love to travel or want to travel now that they've been exposed to how you do it
Yeah.
and use your services? Hold on, let me see something because I want everybody to know how you can where are we? We are here somewhere. Okay. And there we go here. Let me take the banner off a second. All right. How to plan the perfect trip effortlessly.
Yes. And that photo is actually taken in Cuba.
Is this the cover to the ebook?
Yeah.
Why didn't you say that when I first had that?
I did. I did.
No, you didn't.
That is funny.
All
Yeah,
right,
that's
all
the
right, all right,
cover.
great. Okay. So now you see the cover of her ebook, folks. For those of you who want to plan on, it's not doing it on a dime, but it's doing
Right.
it in a way that that's like kind of next to a dime, maybe a quarter or 50
Yeah.
cents. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Those things like
sure.
that. I
Mm-hmm.
think this is important. And this is, by the way, for all of you who would like to visit her website, please, please do so. And this is her banner. Uh, Grace, I'm very impressed. I am very impressed, and I cannot thank you enough.
Thank
This is
you.
wonderful. I like traveling, and I'm always a solo traveler because, as I said, I ain't got to worry about nobody.
Yeah.
You know, when you doing this, when you doing that, when you coming back, it's like,
Yeah. That makes sense based on your numbers, though.
yeah, yeah, for me, yeah, definitely,
That makes sense.
definitely. Now, I have taken my granddaughter with me traveling, but that's a whole nother thing, and
Aw.
that's a different energy. But anyway, this is great. I
Thank
thank you so much, Grace.
thank you.
So when are you leaving? Again, where's your next journey before we get off this show?
Well, actually, I go to Mexico City on Sunday for a
Get
week.
out of here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
All
back
right.
to Mexico City. It'll be my second time there. I really, honestly, Mexico City reminds me of New York a lot. A
You mean
lot.
they like to haggle and stuff like that too?
Well, yeah, but there's just so much happening. Like it's like in New York, on a nice summer day, you're walking outside and you end up at like 10 different events that you didn't even plan for because there's just so much happening in the streets, and you just go which way the wind kind of blows you. Mexico City is very much that.
You when you update your ebook, or maybe you did already, explain the energies when you go to this city. If you want some peace, this is the city you go to. If you don't
Yeah,
want no drama, this is the city you go to. But if you
so
want a
true.
place that kind of reminds you of a metropolitan, and I
Yeah,
think that would be a nice add-on because I think people want to travel, but they really don't know what they want or looking for. All they know is they went on a
yeah.
trip and they paid all
And
this money.
And too, the thing about a lot of these recommendations that are so general, it's people are like, oh, well, Zanzibar is a great place, but maybe it's not a great place for you. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
oh,
yeah.
yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially when you got bulls looking at you like that. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, that's all I'm saying. Because I said I hope she ran for the hills because that looked too close to me.
I
Okay.
know, I know. Yeah, it's crazy because I mean, those guides are not scared of any animal except we saw a black mamba snake, which is very rare to see in the Serengeti, and our guide was terrified of the snake. Like, no, we saw lions, we saw everything, and they were not scared of anything except the snake, which was interesting.
And this is the year of the snake too.
Yeah, yes, it
So
is.
okay.
Yes, it is. Gotta watch out.
Grace, thank you so much. This was
Thank
fun.
you.
You are welcome back when you come back from
Yeah.
about your 45th country or something like that. We'll do a part two.
Yes, I appreciate
Seriously.
it.
And expand your ebook and then make it into a book. But the
Yeah.
fact that your book And this is her book that can be gotten on Amazon in an ebook, How to Plan the Perfect Trip Effortlessly.
Yeah.
Okay. By Grace Sarkor.
Yeah, Sarkor.
Sarkor. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Good. Okay.
Thank you
Grace,
so
thanks. This was
much.
a lot of fun.
Yes, thank you so much.
Okay. And you're welcome back anytime. All righty.
Thank you. I'll be back. I'll be back. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay.
Bye bye.
Bye. That was Grace and that was fun. Um, I don't think she knew I was going to show all of the slides and whatnot. When I saw her website, which I encourage you all to go to it, I mean, it was absolutely amazing. So let me show this again for all of you. Go to her website, look up her, um, all of her information, her website, her Instagram. And when I saw all of that, I says, well, let me take some pictures. I wound up taking 22 of them. And I says, I think that's too many. I'll cut it down. But I mean, such a variety of experiences she had. And as you see, you can do it far, far less than what you think. You know, it's like a family that says, well, if we had enough money, we'd have children. Well, you never have children. But when you have children, you find a way to feed them, clothe them, educate them, shelter them, and whatever the case is. Now, true, you may have to cut back a little bit on trips and other social events and stuff like that, but you do it. And if you can take that, so please go by there and see what she has. And for those of you, again, only because I like to travel too, this is the book, How to Plan the Perfect Trip Effortlessly by Grace Sarkor on Amazon. Okay, so please get it. She says it's $7. All right, and I thank you very much. And this is her site too. So a couple of things. Next month, I'm going to be having a relationship power series. The power series started last month. I will be doing one again on February the 11th. By the way, for those of you, my buddy King Simon, his birthday is coming up on Saturday, I do believe. He is February the 1st. So I want to wish him from the Live with Lloyd family happy birthday. I'm going to be on his show the next day on the 2nd. That's Sunday. So it's going to be interesting. And then I think he's going to be on my show just before the 22nd of February. So we're going to be playing phone tags, going back and forth, and he's having an event. But for those of you who want to know about the power of relationships, and part of it will be taken from my book, Lloyd Strayhorn's Numbers in You Relationship Guide, A Blueprint to Happiness and Joy. That's going to be there. So in light of that, with the sponsors, I want to thank U-Juice. Okay. They're absolutely sugar-free. They don't contain any GMOs, any other elements, sugar, all that stuff. Also, Nicholas Brooklyn, they are having a health fair on the 8th and the 9th. I'm going to have Brother Haru on the 5th of February, talking about some of the things that's just amazing that he's doing, the amazing work in the health field. Also, Miss Kimberly with Manifest on Purpose. Just go to KIMBALEY, Manifest on Purpose, and you do that. You will see her shows and whatnot. Also, Jazz Aphrodite is having some of her pieces with your jewelry, with jewelry according to your numbers. They will be in gold, they will be in silver. So you will have that. Also, believe it or not, this is the last week that January is here. I am now getting February, getting ready to come out the gate. But if you want to get January still or February coming up, you can get it absolutely free. Just go to Lloyd-Strayhorn.com. That's Lloyd-Strayhorn.com, or click on Linktree/Numbers in You. And for those of you who don't like to read the monthly newsletter, you can hear an assessment that Miss Kimberly and I do every single month. We've already recorded February. That should be out very, very shortly, since February is around the corner. But if you want to get a feel of the entire year, as I broke down each month from January, next February, all the way to December, then click on that and you'll see the 2025 numerology forecast for the zodiac signs for the year of the number 9. So everybody, I want to thank you. And let me see, did I do this, please? Yes, this is the Power Series. And if you click on that QR code, that'll take you right there where you can sign up right on the spot. All righty. And I've only have limited seating, but that will be very good. So thank you very, very much, everybody. Have a good weekend. Monday, I believe. What about Monday? Anyway, I think I might be the guest on the show Monday. Anyway, you'll all have a nice day. Oh, and by the way, on February the 25th, I will be teaching people how to earn this as a living. For those of you who may not know, I understand that the 47th president has offered people $2 million to, 2 million people to leave their jobs and give them up until September. So some people are going to be out of work. I think it's predicated upon if you don't come back, since so many people are working remote and they've gotten spoiled working remote. I think most people have to not know you ain't got to get up and shower and get dressed. Showering is always cool, but you know what I'm saying. You don't have to get in your car, burn your gas and whatnot. And so that's the alternative. But what I'm saying is, this is an alternate way that you can make a living. When my guest Grace was on, when she finished the course, Grace actually finished the course. Okay. And then she moved to Thailand right after that and said she had read a person. So in other words, no matter where you go on this planet, if you can speak the King's English or their language, and now they've got earplugs to learn how to hear other people's languages, you can do this. So that's just taken into consideration. So that's where you go for that. It's Numbers You and Beyond Workshop, learning the art of numerology as a career. I've made it as a career, and I've done well. I've done very well. I've done well. Okay, so I'm very blessed. Everybody, y'all stay blessed too. Okay, have a great weekend. Take good care of yourselves, and I will talk to you very, very soon.